I've officially lost my voice, so let's recap day 5. Another packed house for Taylor Townsend, who was taking on Caroline Mukova on the second biggest court, Louis Armstrong. I haven't seen this much net play all tournament, and Taylor's intensity in the first set was off the charts. She dipped in the second, though, and Mukova won in straight sets. She's into the second week. Next up was Aslan Karatsev and Ben Shelton on grandstand. Ben was serving bombs, and it was all too much for the Russian. Shelton has booked a date with Tommy Paul in the next round, which will most definitely be on a show court. The line to get into the general admission section for the Tiafoe match wrapped around the building, and it was the ticket to have. Manarino proved tricky, but I haven't seen Tiafoe this locked in. If he keeps going like this, the semis are in his grasp. Finally, Taylor Fritz took on the birthday boy Jakub Mensik, who played valiantly, but Taylor, who is on a mission to shake off his bad runs at majors, was clinical.
play.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I can see Anastasia in the background. Give me a thumbs up, Anastasia, if you want me to bring you front. Okay, cool. How are you, Anastasia?
I am well. Lost my voice, obviously.
Yes, I know. It's been exciting then. What matches in the last couple of days or the last 4 or 5 days that stick out for you?
I mean, Taylor Townsend's match against Beatrice Haddad-Meyer was just a scene. It was a
Uh-huh.
scene. It felt like a football match. And when I say football, I mean soccer.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, the cheering, the crowd were cheering against each other. And then it was just it was the best, one of the best tennis atmospheres I've ever been a part of. And it was just really great. It was just really great. And, Bea, she handled it very well. Didn't freak out or anything or get frustrated. What are you doing with that big knife?
Oh, I'm cutting a piece of lemon right now. I'm doing this while you're here because rather than do it like in an hour on my own, I'll do it while you're here in case I have an accident. But I'm also
Okay,
cutting up
good.
an orange too. I didn't know you could see the knife, by the way.
You can. You
Okay.
brought it up, and I was like, "What is that?"
Okay. So I'm putting a bit of lemon in my water, Djokovic style. But I've also got an orange here that I'm about to chop up as well.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna step away for like 5 seconds to get my tea because that's been helping.
Do it.
But no, that atmosphere was just so good. It was such a good tennis match. And also the one with Arthur Fils and
Maybe Inaldi, was it?
well, that was good too, but the one before um
5
Arthur
set.
Fils first it was 5 sets. It was his first round match against, let me see, because I had it.
Arthur Fils.
I wrote it down, I think.
Grieksborg. Yeah, 5 sets, 7-5 in the fifth. Yeah.
That was also something where I'm really happy he got to experience that sort of New York, because especially on courts where, none of the players are American, I think the crowd usually just adopts one person, and they chose him.
Okay.
And you had all these kids like screaming his name, and there's this guy who kept being like, "You're the king of New York. You're the king of New York."
By the way, did you find yourself yesterday? Remember I told you I saw you on TV twice. The second time was super clear. The first time was really quick and I wasn't sure. That's why I texted you. But the second time was like, oh, there she is.
I haven't looked, but then so many people actually did text me after that. And they were like, we saw you. We saw you. I think I might have also, because I was in the same seats for the night match. So they might have caught me a little bit for Taylor's match. But that's a first for me. No one's ever spotted me at a match before. So that was good.
I think I've had it once or twice, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so and that's why during the first week, I just really love the outside courts because the atmosphere is great. And this year, especially, like the crowds have been insane. And I've heard some people or read some comments on Twitter of people being like, oh, it's too many people, and they gave too many ground passes. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, it creates such a great atmosphere. And yes, you are lining up for matches on some courts, but it's because those are the headlining ones. Those are the big ones. You should learn, get there early, strategize. It's the fun of the first week, So I'm all for more people going to tennis matches, and the more ground passes they have, they should give it out, because that's what creates the atmosphere. I constantly see, I'm even looking at Sabalenka's match now, which I don't know who else is on at the moment. I think Jack Draper's on.
Jack Draper's just started. The reason I've chosen this match is I only have a couple of hours, and of course Jack
Yeah.
Draper could be 4 or 5 hours, so I just thought I'll go.
Oh yeah, totally.
More likely shorter one. By the way, Jake, why are you stressed? Jake said he's stressing in the trap. Don't kill me, Silky. He says so. Not quite sure what that's referring to. Maybe it's because I was making him wait. I know Jake wants us to start immediately all the time, but anyway, back to I've got Sabalenka on. She's got a break point. Where are you at in this match?
Same.
Okay, so I've got 30-40, and I've got Burel about to serve.
Same.
Yeah, she served now. She's on the backhand, forehand, Aryna. This, I think, should be a comfortable, good depth there from Burel. But she's struggling right now. Aryna's on top, and she breaks. Am I ahead of you, behind you, or more or less the same?
You're just 2 seconds, 2 seconds ahead.
Okay.
Because you said she broke, and then 2 seconds later, I saw it.
Yeah. I'm just going to get a serviette. You can dive and get your tea as well, as and when.
Okay, great.
But, with orange, you do need a serviette. Basically, there's a few foods out there. Spare rib, chicken wings.
Spare rib for sure. Spare rib for sure. It's everywhere. Jake was just worried about the knife like I was.
Oh, okay. Don't kill me. Oh, I see. Okay. Sorry, Jake. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Doing a live stream with a knife this potent is it's a bit scary, especially with a bunch of people you barely know. I can imagine. Let me get this Sabalenka score up as well on the screen, as that's the match we're talking about rather than Artifice from a few days ago.
Yeah. And in KC, you're right. It's really nice to see young players doing well. And I've had the most fun at their matches because I saw Feast beat Greek Spore, so I wanted to watch him again. And I went to the his match with Arnaldi, and that was also a scene. That was also, you know, crazy good vibes, and to see two young players duke it out, it was really nice.
What court was Tiafoe on yesterday?
He was on this one. He was on Louis Armstrong.
Okay.
The one Sabalenka's playing right
now. I think you did a bit of your film, right, with showing how just crazy people were for that match beforehand, like the cues.
Oh, yeah. So basically the way Louis Armstrong works, and also Grandstand, the lower level is ticketed. So you can buy a ticket to the lower level. But the upper level, the upper section is all general admission ground pass.
Okay.
Yeah, so it gives you a chance to see big players on a show court. And the lines to get into his match were bananas. Yeah. And they just stopped at some point because it was at capacity.
Yeah, I understand now. So it's looking pretty comfortable, Sabalenka. I think she'll get this done in straight sets. We'll see. It started as I mentioned. I think she's got too much power for Burel.
Do you know anything about Burel? I've never watched her or heard of her before, really.
I mean, basically, she is somebody who's still pretty young. She's French, and she's kind of overachieving in a way. I mean, she's diminutive, and like I say, just doesn't have. She has the guile, but she doesn't have the power of a Sabalenka or even a Rybakina for that matter. Mind you, of course, she doesn't have to worry about Rybakina because she's gone.
That's true. That was quite a surprise yesterday. I didn't watch it because I was exhausted. I saw the Taylor match and then just headed home.
Have you been keeping an eye on Carlos's matches, even if it's on TV rather than in the stadium?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Have you been watching Carlos, even if it's on TV rather than in the stadium?
No. So here's the thing, which is really, I see Harrison in the chat really thinks Burel's going to win. So just saying.
Burel, no, I saw that, and I would normally address it, but yeah.
She might do it. Anyway, so in general, I'm a fan of tennis. I love tennis. I will cheer for anyone. I love tennis, except when it comes to Carlos Alcaraz. He is phenomenal. I'm a huge fan.
I got it. Yeah,
I've been watching him since he beat Tsitsipas on Grandstand at the U.S. Open. That was also another banana. That was bananas. Everyone was like, "Who's this kid? We don't know this kid, but we're just gonna cheer for him because he was the underdog." he was the underdog at the time, and Tsitsipas is the big guy, and so that was also crazy. So I remember watching that, and then going on to what was this? Was this 2021 U.S. Open, and then
Yeah, I think
going
it was. Yeah.
yeah, and then I was at Ash for his quarterfinal against FAA, and then he had to pull out because he had a groin injury.
Yeah. I think he was a set down, but you're right. I think by then, the younger Carlos and even the Carlos of now, but by especially then, I think it all caught up with him. It was just
Yeah.
the run just came to an end. He just ran out of steam.
Right.
Physically.
So I've been a huge fan since then. And when I'm a fan like that, it just makes me nervous. Like I'm no fun. I am no fun watching his match. I'm, screaming at the screen, coaching him from the sideline. So I haven't seen him. No, that's not true. I went to the Miami Open this year and I saw him. Yeah, I saw a couple of his matches live actually.
You didn't watch the Cinemat by any chance, did you?
Yes, I did.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
I know he lost, but it was still a great match. I mean, him and Sinner just always bring it. Sabalenka's being pushed a little bit on her serve here, but we'll keep you up to date. They've obviously got the score on the screen. If anything crazy happens, I will keep you across it. We've got Peaches in the chat. She's at the stadium herself watching Sabalenka against Burel right now, so hopefully she's enjoying it. I know the shade is helping. Fortunately, she says that she's not in the sun there. There was something I was going to ask you about, Carlos, or something you were just saying, but it's escaped me now because I've got distracted.
About Miami?
Yes, the anxiety of watching the player you really like. It's tough. Yeah, it is tough. Yeah.
So I tend to watch more on TV, without comment, not commenting.
Oh, I know what I was going to say, Anastasia. So when we saw you for the second time yesterday, you were in a big conversation. You were chatting and obviously it was. I'm pretty sure you were chatting away regarding what was going on in front of you. But I remember that it was because you were the first time I barely caught you, but I was pretty sure it was you. That's why I texted.
Yeah.
But the second time it was like, she's having a good old conversation here, and there was sort of some finger wagging as well.
Yeah.
That was like, yeah.
That's I like going to, and this is it, like, everyone in the chat here, we're all tennis fans. We know about tennis, so it's easy to just have an easy conversation. And my friend who was with me then, he watches tennis. We were really talking about the match and what he thought about Taylor's game and all of that. So it's nice going to tennis matches with people who know what's going on and know what a volley is, and all that stuff. Because for the most part, I think 90% of the time when I go to a tennis match, it's the people I'm with, I'm like, so who's this guy, and what does he do? Where's his ranking? And okay, is he good? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, at tennis, rather than other sports, you do get a lot of casual fans. I mean, soccer, and I'm sure it's the same for the big sports in America. Everybody knows their thing, and possibly as much, or even they think they know more than the experts and the coaches, and that's fine. Tennis is kind of a social thing where somewhere between 50 and 80% are sort of just passing through. Keep going.
I
yeah, sure. That's fine. Yes, I think a lot of passing through. Either way, anyway, we've got Sabalenka very, very comfortable here at the moment. 3-love up on this day, the 2nd of September. The tiebreak made its debut in Grand Slam tennis, apparently, on the opening day of the US Open 1970. So we are celebrating 53 years of the tiebreak. How about that? There's always a celebration going on somewhere in tennis or an anniversary, and today it is that. Well, Harrison, it started very much in favor of Aryna. So we'll see. But I understand if you had a pound or a dollar or a penny or whatever it happens to be, perhaps Burel makes more sense given the odds on Aryna. A lot of comments regarding Mo and Draper right now. A lot of long rallies that may well hurt Draper in the long run. Interesting. Yeah, grinding rallies, Matthew's saying there. Yeah, that's great that you can keep us up to date with Mo and Draper in the chat while I keep my eyes on Sabalenka as I see Burel net. So she's at 15 all on her serve. A double break here, and I think it'll be done. Harrison, I think, is maybe teasing us a little bit with his Burel prediction.
which is fine. I find it entertaining. Keep going.
Do you play tennis as well, Anastasia?
Yes, I do a bit.
Okay.
I'm not good or anything, but like I think on and I think that's actually, I don't know. My plan for this, I've never gone to the US Open every single day. Every year I kind of up the ante and I go more. But this year I just went full tilt and I was like, oh, I'm going to go every day. And I didn't think about that really. And I always thought I would just go to one session, either the day or night session. But here's the thing. And I picked days for the first week. But here's the thing. When you have ground passes and you go in the day in the first week, I mean, matches are still going on the outside courts till like 9 or 10. So I think I remember a couple of days I went to play tennis first in the morning and then go. So I think I kind of exhausted myself a little bit.
Oh yes, it can get exhausting. And Sabalenka, by the way, has a break point here. In fact, she had one before and she's now on her second one.
Yeah.
So I mean, Burel is bringing it as much as she possibly can. Sabalenka went big with a backhand that just went out. So it's 30-40 on the Burel serve. Yes, a 33-shot rally apparently already in the Mo Draper match. So you are going there again tonight, right? Am I right?
Yeah, I'm going to go tonight. I just, I saw Zverev practice, but I actually haven't seen him play at all so far. So I'm interested to see his match against Dimitrov tonight.
Yeah, that is an interesting one. Yeah.
That should be an interesting one. And then what's the second match after that? It's
outside of Ash you're talking about.
On Louis Armstrong, it's who is it?
I know.
It's Vondrousova, which I really do want to see her play in person.
Yeah, too. That's a 55-45. I'm going Vondrousova, but that could go either way.
Right. I want it.
You've got Wawrinka Sinner as well, but that at least on what I can see, it's sort of day match.
It's a day match. It's a day match.
So tonight, Alexandrova Vondrousova. Yeah, Alexandrova could overpower Vondrousova if she's accurate. That's the problem. She's one of those sort of big hitters that can occasionally get a bit carried away. Yeah,
I think her match, Alexandrova's match against Leylah Fernandez was closer. I think.
I was pulling for Leylah there. I mean, I of course, we all have our favorites. If there's somebody who's made a Grand Slam final and not got over the line, an Ons Jabeur, a Leylah, for example, I know they're very different ages, but those ones, Pavlyuchenkova as well, I sort of think, especially when they're in their late 20s, early 30s, you're sort of thinking, please give them one more chance. And although Leylah's very young, that run that she had to the final a couple of years ago was pretty special, and a lot of stars aligned. And I don't know if it might never happen again. You just don't know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't know, because I think she's trying. It's just she's shorter. She doesn't have any sort of
get overpowered sometimes.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
Yeah, and that's what happened to Alexandrova. She doesn't have a big serve that she can rely on, so when she goes a break up, she's still vulnerable, which happened, I think, in at least one of those 3 sets the other day. She was a break up and lost it. She was actually a double breakdown, I think, in the third set, but she got that back on serve, but still ended up losing the match. So there we go. Saba's shots are like bullets. That's fair enough, Peaches, because right now she's 4-love up and serving and looking pretty comfortable. She's actually my tip for the title. I don't know who you've gone for on the women's side.
Sabalenka was initially, but for me, because I'm not really, it actually just changes throughout the tournament. And right now, I am very impressed by Coco Gauff because, and even someone like Tiafoe, one more match and he might have me as well, because I tend to, you see these people go through and win tournaments and all that stuff, and you're like, oh, maybe, and then they just don't do well at the slams. But Coco's had some really challenging matches, and she's come back from it with such force. Like, her confidence level is like, you look at her and you're like, oh, she could win a Grand Slam, So that Iga, I'm waiting for that Iga rematch. That would be That's the
Potentially, yes,
test.
a quarterfinal. Yeah, definitely. I
If
mean, Arena's gone 5 love up. But back to Swiatek, she has to get past Ostapenko. I
yeah,
think she will, but she does have she's not beaten Ostapenko yet. I think they've played each other 3 times, and Ostapenko's won each one.
mm,
Of course, they've not met at the French Open, which might favor Iga a bit. But yeah, I think she'll break that when they do play each other on Sunday. That's certainly an exciting one. There's a couple other matches on Sunday as well that are pretty exciting. I think we've got Tommy Paul. Who's Tommy Paul up against? A fellow American, but I can't remember who.
Ben Shelton.
And Shelton, yes. I think that'll
That's
probably
gonna
get an
be
Ash spot somewhere.
it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be a lot.
Peaches is excited to see Stan and also Sasha Zverev too. So I don't know. Peaches seems to have been there quite a bit. I know Isabel is going from time to time as well. She was there yesterday, I think. I don't know if you know Isabel. Sometimes she's on our show. She was there yesterday and maybe again today. Jake is pumped for Shelton too, albeit I think he's on tomorrow, of course. Okay, so 5 love here, Aryna. She's going for a bagel, albeit it's on the Burel serve, but the Burel serve is targetable, it's attackable, especially for somebody like Sabalenka.
Yeah.
So yeah, are you getting mofo right now, or are you enjoying the fact that you're just having a few hours at least away from the US Open in terms of attending?
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to go today, but
FOMO
you know,
is the word, actually. FOMO, isn't it? Fear of missing out.
Yeah. You know, there are definitely some matches that I would have liked to see. I would have liked to see Dasha today. So hopefully she goes through and I can watch it, you know, watch her play some other time. What else would I really want to have seen? There was something else. I really am interested in the Rindiknecht Rublev match because Rindiknecht looked phenomenal against Berrettini before the ankle went. So, the Corona, and they made it. I would have loved to see them today.
I think they're there today. I mean, they might still be there tonight. I mean, of course, Sinner is playing.
No, they're just there for Sinner.
Yeah, exactly. But you might still see him tonight because you'll get there tonight. But who knows what time Sinner will finish? Do you know what I mean? He's third on Armstrong, and if the previous matches, I mean, obviously this match is probably going to be pretty swift. But
and that's really what happened yesterday because Iga's match was, I don't know, 2 minutes long. So the day session on Louis Armstrong was actually quite short in the end. Who else?
Yeah. So, but you might see them around the grounds is my point. You know, they might
maybe
this evening.
Because I think they're there to support Sinner, but then they also pop up at Matteo Nardi's matches too. So they kind of do the whole Italian
love.
Yeah.
There's a New York chef, by the way, that he appears at the US Open every year in and around Berrettini's box because from about 4
I know
years,
him.
Yeah, the big long beard guy. Yeah, the tattoos. Yeah.
I actually met him for the first time last year, and his restaurant's great. So I kind of became a regular, me and my friends. So it was nice. I mean, it's funny. It's kind of different on court 5, but I was sitting in Berrettini's box for the 2 matches he was there for. But they don't really point you there. They're a fun group. They're a fun group of people. So
where in New York are you, by the way?
Brooklyn.
Okay. Hipster town nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Like Williamsburg. Is it Williamsburg? Is that the name of the district that I'm thinking of?
It's a part of it. Yeah. Williamsburg.
There's a German bar I've been to a couple of times in Williamsburg.
Spritzenhaus.
Could well be. It's pretty big, pretty popular.
Yeah.
Been there a couple of times. Yeah. I landed on the day of the women's final in 2019 and caught the tail end of Andreescu.
You only came in for the final?
I went for the men's final and stayed a few more days. I think I was there Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, something like that. So sort of a long weekend that year. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, landed on the Saturday, had a night out on the Saturday and Went to the men's final, which was Medvedev and Nadal. And
I was there.
You were at that
That's
match too, Medvedev and Nadal?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't remember. I don't remember seeing it.
I'll never forget that match only because of the celebration, because he won and he hit the ground, to my eyes, so hard. I was like, did he what? I was like, what was that? Is he okay? Still the weirdest celebration I've ever seen.
Yeah. Oh, that's 2021. No, I'm talking 2019. I'm talking Medvedev and Nadal 2019. You're talking 2021 against Djokovic, right?
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so he's made 2 finals there. Yeah, no, 2019 I was there for the 5-setter against Rafa. I was actually texting because I went with a friend, but he doesn't like tennis, so I was going for the tennis and of course the rest of the other things you can do in New York, you know. But for the final, he met up with another friend, and they had beers in the afternoon. And I said, I'll join you especially because Rafa looks like he's going to do this in straights. So as Aryna, by the way, wraps up the first set. So I said to my mate, I said, where are you? He said, he named the bar and the location. I think it was somewhere in Manhattan. I said, oh, I'll probably be there in about an hour because this is looking done. I think Rafa was even a break up in the third. So he was up 2 sets to love and a break in the third. And this is Rafa Nadal, who'd won 18 Grand Slams at the time and 3 US Opens. And so I was really optimistic about joining him at 7, 8 o'clock. However, given the nature of the match, I'm really, because I was supporting Rafa, but I'm really pleased that it went 5 because it became a classic, if you like, rather than a straight sets, comfortable win. It did become a classic because Rafa was really hanging on at the end and just got over the line.
Yeah. I'm just gonna pull up what's Mo Draper doing.
Yeah, do that. In fact, you can keep an eye on that. We've actually got a break now because Aryna has comfortably won that first set. Peaches seems like she's having fun anyway, which is cool. Nice to see Sabalenka. By the way, I spoke to Aryna a few months ago, and I'm going to play it right now. And it was just about drawing on her Australian Open memories to help her get over the line in big tournaments. There were some Australian Open final vibes for me today, and I was looking at a couple of comparisons. Australia was 2 hours, 28 minutes. Today was 2:26. I'm sure you weren't aware of that. But I tell you, 4 championship points. Does that sound familiar? And were you thinking of it during that last game?
Actually, yes, I was thinking when I was down with the break in the last game. I was thinking, okay, I did it at the Australia Open, so probably I'll be able to get this win this time again. And it's actually helped me to stay focused and to have this belief in myself. And yeah, definitely this match reminds a lot of Australia Open match.
She's a lot of fun. She is
really a lot of fun. She is.
Yeah. Just very charming, and I'm really pleased she got over the line in Australia because it was becoming a thing. One of the most talented, US, Grand Slam potential winning players that hadn't got over the line. I mean, she hadn't even been in a final until Australia, but there was so many close semi-finals that she'd been involved in. She's been involved in a couple more this year as well. But fortunately, she's got over the line. So in a way, it's not like, now it's the Ons Jabeur kind of, is she going to get over the line sort of thing. I don't know. How do you feel about Ons? Do you think she'll do it one day in a Grand Slam?
I mean, I don't do sports betting, all of that. For me, especially with tennis, it's not worth it because anything can happen. But for that Wimbledon final, I would have bet money Ons had that in the bag. And seeing her come out and lose that match, she lost that match. She lost it because her attitude was like, she was just, and you could see it on her face.
I mean, the roof was closed, but that performance in the final was heavy in every sense.
Because it's one thing, I think, to be beaten, but she lost it. She didn't even try. She didn't even try. It was so kind of what's happening. Like, why is she so almost nervous or worried? I'm like, you've been here before. So again, I would have put money that she would win, and she didn't, and that was kind of disappointing to see, and I really don't know if it's something she can ever get over.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, with every final that passes, other players have done it. I mean, Kim Clijsters, I think, lost her first 3 finals before finally getting over the line.
yeah. And it seems like she is working with Kim Clijsters, at least in like sort of a non-formal advising.
Yeah, I know they
way.
have been in touch. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Sabalenka has 2 break points here on the Burel serve. It's going to be a
that.
first serve for her to look at rather than a second one. I think that just clipped the net, that first serve. So it's another first serve for Burel. Now it's going to be a second serve. I thought that was going to be another. Go on.
It's really funny because I wonder, I noticed something yesterday, and it's really cool because I think it's something you would never catch on TV or anything, but it was, I think it was 2-love in the third set with Taylor and Yaku last night. And I had moved to behind Taylor's box, and Taylor looked over at his box and he said, "I'm not giving him a game." And then he didn't. It was beautiful to see. And I wonder if players ever think like that, to just be that locked in and that kind of like, you know what? Not giving him a game.
You have to be.
Cool. Sabalenka, you could do it. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be. Hi, Ghosty. I can see you just dropping by. Hopefully, you hit the like button before you do head off. But yeah, I mean, listen, I know it sounds pretty mean or ruthless, but you can't. You can be winning a match. 6-love, 3-love. You can be winning a match. You may have won the first 2 sets and be 3-love up in the third, but you can't afford to just go, oh, maybe they should have a couple of games, because before you know it's 3-2, and you're fighting to win the third set.
Yeah, it was nice to see that, because a lot of times I think sometimes I'm like, why, tennis players are so nice. They're just, everyone's like lovely. Everyone hugs each other, handshake at the net. And you almost want there to be a little bit of a, ooh, Jack Draper breaks. Good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so good serving from Mo there, but Jack Draper got that over the line. Good job.
So what's the score in that first set?
3-4. Jack Draper 4.
Okay, so he's close to getting that first.
But yeah, that I loved seeing that ruthlessness. That was good.
Yeah. Burel, by the way, is making a good fight of this first game, because she was facing 2 break points and now she has a game point of her own. By the way, for those of you just tuning in, make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Nick and Damien are going to be bringing you the Dan Evans Carlos match. So these 2 matches may even overlap, depending on how quickly Sabalenka potentially gets this done. But feel free to switch away from Sabalenka Burel should you find Carlos and Evans a bit more exciting. Because Damien and Burel's just held serve. Damien and Nick will be bringing you out. I may even put it in the live chat as well to give you that links if you want to hear Damien and Nick as well chat tennis. That makes sense. Clara Burel has held serve, so that is good news for her, at least at the beginning of this. What time are you staying until Anastasia?
I can be here till 1, and then
What time is it now?
Oh, it's 11:44.
Oh, okay. So probably till the end of this match.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm saying probably. I'm just being a bit presumptuous about this ending in straight sets, but maybe I shouldn't be.
Burel's making a comeback.
Well, she's held serve, and that was tricky, obviously, at 15-40, and bearing in mind she was crushed in the first set. But she's not really getting a look in on Sabalenka's serve either. So as I would expect, but that's not a bad return there. But Sabalenka's just whacking that ball.
Yeah.
So you're going Coco right now to win the women's title?
She's looking good. She's really looking good. I mean, who's she playing next? Wozniacki?
Yeah. Tricky, but I think she'll beat Wozniacki, but tricky.
Yeah, very tricky, especially because I don't know. She's Wozniacki. Her match with Brady was pretty
Yeah, I was pulling for Brady.
I
in that
thought
one.
Brady was going to get her.
Yeah, won the first set, of course, but
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see that. But for right now, Coco's looking good. Iga's looking Iga-like, she's doing her thing.
yeah.
So
She's doing her first week at a Grand Slam. I saw Damien mentioning this yesterday, and I would concur in that. With the odd exception, she just crushes people in the first week across all the slams, pretty much. But things do get interesting from now on. As I say, Ostapenko, followed by Goff, followed by, let's say, Mukova in the semi-final, followed by Sabalenka in the final. And there's a lot of tennis to be played between now and then. But things are getting a lot tougher from now on in.
Yeah. And Mukova looked really good against Taylor Townsend.
Yeah, because that was the match. Yeah, so I was commentating on that match. That was a really popular one, by the way. I had lots of people joining us for that. At what would have been 11 a.m. your time yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that was 11 a.m. So that's the one where you saw me.
Yeah, exactly. So the first 12 games of that, so it was 6-all going into that tiebreak. Townsend was maybe the better player. I mean, she had a lot of break points throughout that first set. But once it went to that tiebreak, I did have a feeling that Mukova would do it. Oh, wow, that's a nice passing shot, or at least attempt at it from Burel. I felt like it because I think she was up a more favorable end of the court. I don't know if you noticed in the stadium, but she was struggling with the sun, Mukova, a lot in that first set.
Yeah, it was. So just in the morning there, where the light was hitting, if you were on that side of the court, you were looking directly at the sun with your toss. So she always did a little practice to make sure she knew where to look on that side of the court. And I think for me with the first set, just looking at Mukova, it seemed like she was just trying to get her bearings. I don't know if she ever practiced on that court or anything, but it just seemed like she was just trying to figure out the court itself. And it was less about her playing badly versus she was trying to find her bearings. But once she did, I think she really did just take it to Taylor. And Taylor, her intensity in that first set was off the charts. It was, she was looking at her box. She was talking to herself. She's like, I got this. This is mine. She was really, really pumping herself up. And I don't know if she overdid it a bit or just ran out of gas, because for the second set, she just wasn't there anymore. The second set. And that was it.
She probably had to take one or two more of those break point opportunities in the first set. And regarding the tie break, Mukova was up the more favorable end, certainly for her. And I said going into the tie break, she's going to have a lead at the changeover. Now, I didn't expect it to be 6-0, but I had a feeling, bearing in mind how that first set had gone, the momentum just felt as though it was just shifting towards Mukova. And I thought to myself, she's going to have like a 4-2, 5-1 lead. And that might be enough. And it was. Basically, her 6-0 lead put her in that position, of course. And then she just gets the next point and wins the first set. And that was kind of it. Right now, Mukova is in a bit of a better form anyway than Townsend. I mean, Townsend's doing very well. As you mentioned, that win over Hadad, I think is impressive. But, going into the match, Mukova was the favorite. And once that tiebreak, maybe even the manner of it being 7-0 makes it a bit trickier going into that next set.
Yeah.
So what did you make of Mukova anyway in general?
Mukova?
Yeah.
Great. Again, I think, she started very slow. She just seemed a little bit, it was almost like, again, trying to find her way on the court. But once she did, I was like, oh, okay. She was
scrappy at times in that first set, but she pulled through. So
yeah, she was calm, because again, all the players I've watched so far play Americans, I think there was only one, and I don't know why I'm spazzing now on who it was, who had an issue handling it. But
Laura Sigmund probably against Coco.
I didn't even watch that one. I didn't watch that match, but
she was certainly the crowd was a tough one for her. I mean, she was pushing the boundaries of what is right and fair in sport, if you know what I mean, in terms of the timing. There's two sides to it. I have every sympathy. By the way, Burel's had 2 more break points in this second service game, and she's just saved another one.
Yeah.
That Goff Siegmund thing is sort of, there's 2 sides to that story, and I have every sympathy for Laura in that, you know, you don't want to see people get booed, and I know she was very emotional in her press conference afterwards, and it's tough. However, Laura does push the limits when it comes to timing. It's something that you do when you get a bit older. I get it, and I saw her do it, you know, in Berlin this year in face to face, and I was like, okay, she's getting away with it here because this tournament's perhaps in Berlin. By the way, Aryna's just broken for a 2-1 lead. Again, her power just too much and too much depth on that shot, and Burel couldn't handle it. But yeah, she does push the clock, and she also got in trouble in her biggest Grand Slam, Laura. She got to the quarterfinals of the French Open about 5 years ago, and there was an argument between her and the umpire as well, again over taking too much time between points. You know, she says, I'm 35 years old, my best days in singles in terms of my ranking probably is behind me, but I also, I'm trying my heart out, I'm bringing entertainment, and she does, because her game is very exciting. She's got a lot of variety, and that troubled Goff for a set and a half. I wouldn't boo her, but I also understand where maybe the umpire was a bit lenient with her, to be fair, and made her let her get away with a bit too much. And so there's a lot going on there. But I also, you know, I'm upset because she was upset too in her press conference, and I can understand that. She's not somebody who tends to get upset easily. So yeah. But you know, I also get it. I get it. She's an older player, and she wants to try and win the tennis match, and the best way to do so is disrupt as much as possible and do different things. But in the end, pull through.
But you know, I understand the feeling, because I can only imagine if I was on court and my every fault is cheered and all my good points. It's kind of wild how silent it is when the opponent wins a shot. It's just silent. And it's just quiet. That's what Roman Safulin, when he played Tommy Paul, like those first 2 sets, you could hear a pin drop. It was so quiet. Everyone's just like, okay, just gonna be quiet. And then every time Tommy was on serve or anything, you'd hear all the cheers and stuff. So I get it. I get that sort of, but I think that's just part of being a tennis player and an athlete. You have to be mentally strong to handle those situations. And I, you know, so in that respect, with all the booing and stuff, because I was like, I watched the French Open. That was bananas.
It happens.
You know, it happens everywhere where you have a local who's playing, you know, and you have a boisterous crowd. So I don't have sympathy there, you know, because I'm sure if she was playing in Germany against an American, all the Germans would be for her. So I feel like she could have handled that better. But again, I'm not happy she was sad. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want someone crying in their press conference because they, you know, they felt slighted or something. But again, you're right. I heard she did push it.
Yeah, and she does, and that's her nature, and good luck to her. I mean, she's still a lot of fun to watch. She has a lot of variety coming to the net and mixing things up, and a good game, and I enjoy watching her play. But I saw her in Berlin this year doing very similar things. I spoke to her in Madrid as well, did a 1-to-1 interview with her in Madrid, and she's a lot of fun off the court. So I enjoy seeing her do well. Someone who's not doing well right now is Burel, who's down a set and a break.
Sorry, I just saw Mo take the weirdest jumping backhand that didn't even get over the net, and it was just so
I saw a serve from Kazakhina a couple of days ago that barely made it to the net. It was a second serve, I think. It was a double fault, and but yeah,
it's one thing if it was just like a regular backhand, but it was like one of those sort of, you know, jumping backhand. Like, it's so much effort, and it just didn't go anywhere. I was like, oh, wow, not great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Djokovic pushed to 5 sets last night. Because it was so late, I couldn't unfortunately watch any of that. But that took me by surprise.
You know, and this is why I hate, you know, I was looking at all the commentary stuff. I don't watch Novak's matches because I don't care for them. But I saw the whole like, oh, you know, everyone's texting me. They're like, he lost the first set. I'm like, okay, great. And then they're like, he lost the second set. And you know, that's when you start getting your hopes up, because if he had lost that match, that opens up the gates to an American being in the final. You know,
I mean, it opens up the gates to a lot of people, but yeah, for sure, there'll be a few Americans licking their lips. Because right now, I just don't know if any of them. Maybe Tiafoe, but I've seen Tommy Paul play. I saw Tommy Paul play. Yeah, Tiafoe could make things interesting. But I don't know if Tommy Paul would. I saw Tommy Paul play him in Australia, and it was one-way traffic, and Tommy Paul just had no answers. I was getting a bit frustrated with Tommy because I thought he could have maybe mixed things up a bit, come to the net a bit. Tommy mentioned it in his press conference afterwards, by the way, where he just said he would like to have come to the net a bit more, but he was never in a position to do so because Novak's so good. And I get it. I still think he could have done a bit more, but I do get it.
Yeah, and I mean, did you watch the Cincinnati match with Taylor and Novak?
Yes, I think I saw the first set, but I it was too late for the second set. But yeah, I think I fell asleep. But yeah, what did you think?
That was also, I mean, just.
So that's a potential quarterfinal for Novak. But given the way, as you said, that match went.
I mean, it was almost like he wasn't trying on purpose. I was like, you know, sometimes when you watch a tennis match and you're like, have you ever played tennis before? That's what it felt like. That's literally what it felt like.
I mean, certainly with Novak, sometimes he's beaten an opponent before they even begin. I mean, normally when you start seeing all this,
no, but Taylor is the one of all the Americans, really. Tiafoe does it as well. But Taylor, he talks such a big game. Remember when it was like Novak, it was at the Nadal match in
Wimbledon, maybe?
Wimbledon, and then he was like, I'm gonna get him back and beat him in Indian Wells. And you know, he talks such a big game. He's like, we could take it. I'm like, okay, great. So I expected that Cincinnati match. I was like, okay, this is it. Taylor, here we go. This is your moment to take it to the big three, you know, the big bad big three. And he just shrank and just shriveled. And I was like, okay, well, that wasn't exactly a good showing there. But anyway.
Sabalenka's going to try and get this done maybe in the next 10 or 15 minutes. She's love 15 up
10
on
or
the
15 minutes.
I'm hoping she gets this done soon because I'm
Alcaraz comes on. Yes.
Yeah. So a straight sets win anyway, and it will be done in the next 15 minutes, and with a double break, it could be done even sooner.
Yeah. Draper's fighting here to close us out the first set.
Sean here making an interesting point because I think he's obviously thinking about our friend Sebi Korda as well, of course, who said he was one of the favourites at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of that comment that Sebi Korda made, and then he went out in the first round.
I remember because it was at Queen's.
Yes, right, exactly.
He was playing Alcaraz next, and everyone was talking up Sebi Korda, like, oh my goodness, here comes Sebi Korda.
I was talking him up too. I thought it could be a tight one against Alcaraz. Could have gone either way. I mean, in the end, Alcaraz, I think, won in straights, but
yes, he did. And Draper takes the first set. Good job. I love seeing Jack Draper back because and again, it's almost something like Sebi Korda, because when all these kids were coming up, it was Sebi Korda, Jack Draper, Carlos Alcaraz. I was like, young blood coming into the game. Especially when Tsitsipas and Zverev and that group didn't really make quite a dent in anything. I thought, it would be great for these new guys to come in. And then injury just took over, and Sebi was out, and Jack Draper was out. And I was like, oh, bummer. So it's nice to see Jack Draper back.
Yep, indeed. Yeah, although of course Paul Hurkacz looked like he was struggling physically the other day.
Oh, that was definitely sickness. Something was off because I think we were talking about it, and I've never seen Hurkacz play in person. And just from the beginning, he just seemed out of it, and it wasn't that hot. So I was like, it can't be heat stroke. Like, the match just started and it's not hot or anything. It was sunny. But he just looked dazed, and he would like sort of saunter over to the baseline and just no energy. Ooh, I just saw that Draper has this. It doesn't look like taping. It looks more like a heat patch on his abs.
Okay. Oh, you got me concerned then, but just because Draper's record and fitness is not the
Well, that's why I'm mentioning it, because he has this huge heat patch on his abs, and I'm like, oh, what could possibly be wrong now?
Alcaraz tends to wear a sort of thigh strapping, but it seems to be a permanent fixture.
So I noticed it for the first time during Queens, and I remember freaking out, being like, why does he have a thigh strap? What's happening?
Yeah.
Because also the way he was wearing it, because I was like, are you trying to hide it? Because
it's discreet. Yeah.
I know. I'm like, you're not doing a good job, but I see it. So I was worried in Queens. I was like, what's happening? But then he had it through Wimbledon, and I was like, okay. And then I saw it a little bit in Canada. Like, there's some matches where I'm like, oh, I don't see it, but maybe it's just really hidden then. But now it's there. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's just a precaution, or it's the way he likes to play, or I don't know.
Sabalenka's got on a run of consecutive points right now. She's 30-love up on her serve and leading 4-1 as well. So, yeah, it's one-way traffic here. Probably as I expected. I'm not going to lie. I thought this would be a comfortable win for Aryna for a variety of reasons. And things are looking good for her right now in New York. If she does go on to win this in straights, of course, that'll mean she hasn't dropped a set. It's a nice forehand winner down the line for Burel, though, to bring up 30-15 to at least break the run of points in a row for Aryna.
Oh, great. So she's coming back. It's coming back. We heard early in this chat that Burel was going to win, so there's still time.
Yeah, I know. I wonder if he was teasing, but also he was just also looking at the odds maybe being a bit more favorable.
Oh.
That's what I got. That was my impression. Which, I mean, you wouldn't put money on Aryna just because it's too heavy. I mean, I'm not a betting person either, but I can imagine how favorable those odds would have been.
It's really fascinating to me because, again, it's not something I've noticed really until recently, betting in tennis. But throughout the grounds at the Open, like, you're watching matches and you have all these people, literally just talking about their bets and putting money on this. And should I put $50 on this guy? And should I put 50? And for me, it's always odd to me that a casual fan who doesn't really know the history is just looking at numbers on a screen can judge, oh, I'm going to put money on this person. It seems very risky to me. But I guess if it's money you're willing to lose, you might as well, if that's your thing.
Yeah. So Aryna is facing what I believe to be her first break point. So I will just talk us through this upcoming point. 53 minutes on the clock. She is in danger, if that's the right expression, or possibly winning this in less than an hour. But I think she's going to have to really get a move on right now, especially if she's facing this break point. So I'll just talk us through this point. She serves down the tee. It's a forehand return on her backhand now onto the backhand of Burel. Both of these, of course, right-handers. She goes for it, Aryna. Good defense, though, from Burel. It's a nice drop shot from Aryna, and it helps win her the point, and we're back at deuce. You're not breaking me today, she says.
Not today. And
I hope that guy with not too much hair on his head has applied plenty of sunscreen. He's in the box. I'm guessing for Burel, just because I didn't recognize him. We interviewed a data guy yesterday. He's on the team.
We listened to some of that.
Yeah, he's on the team of both Ons and Aryna. So things do get interesting when they have to meet each other. He kind of presents the data and takes a step back. But yeah, we've had him on a few times. I had him on at the beginning of the year for a sort of full-on sort of 40-minute interview. telling us about what he does. And he also works with Rusevori and Arnaldi as well. So right now he's got 3 people still at the US Open in Arnaldi and Sabalenka and Ons. And in fact, he kind of because all 3 of his players play every day because they're both on the same side of the draw. They're all 3 on the same side of the draw, so to speak. In other words, Arnaldi's playing today as well, I believe. So
yeah, he is.
These second days for him are obviously pretty busy. But yeah, I've had him on a few times. I had him on, I think, just before or during Wimbledon. I can't remember which day it was. Maybe about 24 hours before Sabalenka and Ons were due to play each other. I had him on for 5 or 10 minutes. As well, yes, Arnaldi, of course, up against Cam Norrie shortly, actually, on court 17.
Yeah. Mo just double faulted in the first game of the second set to be broken.
Oh, dear. So things are... yeah. I'm just going to put in the live chat the Dan Evans and Carlos Alcaraz match. So those of you that are thinking, okay, I want Alcaraz, Dan Evans commentary, there it is. I've just put it in the live chat for you. I will stick, though, with Aryna and Burel. They're at deuce right now with a double break advantage for Aryna, and she now has a game point after Burel nets.
Let's see. Let's go around the courts. What is Dasha doing?
Has she started Dasha her match?
Yes. She's
Okay.
playing Minin.
Okay. I saw her match against Kenan the other day. Kazatkina.
Oh, that strapping was insane.
Yeah, I know.
Kenan's eye. Whoa.
Yeah. And it happened at 3-2 when she had a break. It's back at deuce because Sabalenka's just hit a forehand wide. Yeah, she lost a lot of momentum at that point as well, as in like she just got the break of serve quite close to the finish line as well. And it seemed to disrupt it as much as the physical thing may have been there. I think it was also a mental disruption for her.
Yeah. Kazatkina is up a set and a break in the second.
Oh, okay. This is a slightly easier assignment for her. Sabalenka, by the way, is being made to go beyond the hour mark. I'm pretty sure about that. We must be at about 55, 56 minutes now because this service game is a bit tough for her.
Unbelievable. She could,
I was at the US Open in 2016 as well for the first day. I saw Phil Collins singing and dancing and because it was the first year that they had a roof in 2016. And so they inaugurated it that particular evening with some Phil Collins numbers, and Phil Collins was there singing and dancing and stuff for about half an hour. But the reason I think of it is because they just showed a real big air sky view shot of the grounds, and it reminded me of the fact that before the evening session that I went to, I was in the car park of a baseball stadium where people had their car boots open and had barbecues and beers and stuff. Which I think is a kind of an American thing. I don't know. We certainly wouldn't do it at a soccer match. People before a soccer match go to the pub, but before.
So then your parking had to have been at Citi Field then.
I mean, I didn't park. I just went to like a kiosk or whatever, a shop, and got some beers and found a place to drink them was in this car park.
Yeah. So right next to the Billie Jean Tennis Center is City Park, where they do baseball games, and then they tailgate. So that they were tailgating.
Okay.
Which happens in football, baseball games. It's why a lot of people have pickups.
Gotcha.
So they can tailgate on the tailgate of their pickup truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not my thing. I don't do baseball or football.
Not really, neither. But it seemed like something fun at the time.
It's a fun time. I did it in college, but that was a different time.
Aryna has held for 5-1. So
comeback starts now.
Yeah. She's going to have to start pretty soon. In fact, she's going to have to start now. Yeah. She can't afford to lose any more games.
No.
Sabalenka's already got the first point of this game. So, I mean, at least it's not like a bagel anyway.
Yeah. Okay. what else is happening on the grounds today?
I imagine Alcaraz and Evans must be warming up right now.
Yes, I just got the notification from my US Open app.
Ah,
They're on
okay.
court. They're on court.
Ooh, not quite a winner there from Burel, and she's a bit frustrated with herself with that one. I mean, yes, there was a chance perhaps going cross court. She's loved 30 on her serve, so Aryna is 2 points from victory. For those of you just tuning in, make sure you hit the like button, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. You can also follow us, like us, whatever verb is out there on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm just sharing that on the screen right now. As we head inexorably towards 3,000 subscribers. So please subscribe if you are watching on YouTube. What else could I just... Oh, there's Anastasia's Twitter handle as well. If you like the cut of her jib, you can follow her there, and she will be tweeting lots of stuff from the US Open, I'm sure, in the coming hours and days. Love 40, and by the way, Sabalenka, game, set, and match. That was done. It may well have been very close. In fact, I think it might have been dead on an hour in the end.
Let's look to see. They usually have the timings on here.
I can just see
it was exactly an hour.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, it was a brief stream. I did semi-anticipate it because I'm looking forward to having a Saturday night out. So that was why I chose this match as opposed to Mo against Draper, although that might be swift as well. Draper's up a set and a break, right?
Yes.
We'll just stay live for a couple more minutes, just while I get the Sabalenka on-court speech, because I can turn up my TV and share some of her words that she gives on court in her on-court interview. Just dropping 2 games, and so she's now into the 4th round without dropping a set. As I said at the beginning of the tournament, she has had quite a kind draw, not being in the same half as Rybakina, not being in the same half as Coco Gauff. There were not many people that I could see her having trouble with before the quarterfinal, which could be against Jabeur. Here we go. So her on-court interview now.
Aryna, you didn't talk that yet. This match took 1 hour. Are you in a rush to go somewhere?
Can you hear the TV, by the way?
Yeah, I can.
Good. I'm in a rush for a good lunch.
Thank you so much, guys, for your support. You guys amazing. Thank you.
You've really gotten yourself into a groove as the second week.
She certainly has got herself into a groove. I'm going to turn it back down now anyway. But she certainly has got a groove on and a rush on, as the interviewer suggested there, as she wins this match in dead on an hour. Listen, Anastasia, I'm going to bring this brief show to an end. Have you got any final thoughts on either the tennis that's coming up or just happened?
No, I mean, again, just ranking wise and just seeing it, I think that was an easy warm up for Aryna. I think Peaches said that in the chat a little bit. It seemed like a warm up. But yeah, I weirdly, I thought this might be a tougher go around for Kazatkina. So it's nice to see she's a set up and 5-1 in the second. So, that might be also another easy one, and hoping the best for Draper to go through, because
indeed. I've just put as well in the live chat, make sure you tune in for Evans Alcaraz, which is just getting underway with Damien and Nick. I've put that in the live chat, so there it is, and I'm putting up on the screen right now. Anastasia, big thank you for joining me today, and I'm sure our paths will be crossing again soon.
Definitely. Bye, guys.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.